This program is brought to you by generous donations from the community and sponsored by Stifel Financial.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Forbes, your host for tonight's edition of Nevada County Now. As part of its ongoing effort to address the local housing shortage, last week the Grass Valley City Council passed an ordinance that would allow up to 10 mixed-use dwelling units in the city's town core zone, which would include Mill Street Plaza. The goal is to fill underutilized space in the upper stories of older buildings, thereby encouraging prospective tenants to live closer to centers of employment as well as the Tinloy Transit Station. The City Council meeting was well attended by local residents who voiced overall support, stating that it would bring vitality and vibrancy to the downtown, but cautioned that units should be affordable and live up to current building code standards for fire safety and accessibility. What some may not realize is that currently there are a few upper floor apartments already in use. This ordinance will expand it to 10 units. Apartments above storefronts are not a new concept. This dates back to ancient times and can be seen all over the world. These mixed-use dwellings offer convenience to shop owners, artists, or those looking for an affordable place to live in an area where they spend a fair amount of time. For the right individual, this could be the perfect fit. And for those who are seeking a bit more privacy or seclusion, this is definitely not the living situation for you. Don't go away. We will take a short sponsor break and be right back.
Thank you to Stifel Financial, proudly helping individuals pursue financial goals, businesses and organizations raise and protect capital, and communities offer a higher quality of life. To learn more, visit www.stifel.com.
And speaking of zoning, the Nevada County Supervisors approved rezoning 60 acres of land which would be used for a small-scale timber operation. Dr. Danner Hodgson has plans to develop a Christmas tree farm on the site. Development of the site would include management, which would create jobs for contractors specializing in timber extraction and fire hazard reduction. We will continue to watch this story and report back with any updates. The Nevada City Public Arts Commission, or PAC, is inviting the community to participate in a public workshop regarding a proposed art installation at the Broad Street Y intersection. The workshop will be held on Wednesday, March 5th at 5:30 p.m. at City Hall, immediately preceding the regular PAC meeting. The workshop will gather public input on potential art themes for the raised area between East Broad and West Broad Streets, where new benches are also proposed. During their February meeting, commissioners discussed various artistic concepts, including a clock, sundial, or statue for this prominent location. Community voice is essential in shaping public art that truly represents Nevada City, said Celine Negrete, chair of the Public Arts Commission. Last week, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, along with agents of the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, ABC, set up a sting operation and cited 5 clerks for selling alcohol to minors on February 23rd. The actions were the result of a minor decoy operation in which minors under the direct supervision of department agents attempted to purchase alcohol from 23 retail establishments in Nevada City, North San Juan, Grass Valley, and Penn Valley. Clerks who sold to a minor face a minimum fine of $250 and up to 32 hours of community service for a first violation. In addition, ABC may take administrative action against the alcoholic beverage license of the business, which may include a fine, suspension, or the permanent revocation of the license. Statistics have shown that young people under the age of 21 have a much higher risk of being involved in an automobile accident than older drivers. About 25% of fatal crashes involve underage drinking, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Minor decoy operations have been conducted by local law enforcement through the state since the 1980s. When the program first began, the violation rate of retail establishments selling to minors was as high as 40 to 50%, and when conducted on a routine basis, that rate has dropped to below 10% in some cities. In 1994, the California Supreme Court ruled unanimously that use of minor decoys is a valid legal tool of law enforcement to make sure that licensees are complying with the law. Funding for this program was provided by a grant from ABC through the department's APP program. Lacrosse's origins can be traced back as early as the 12th century to various indigenous tribes in North America, where the game was played for centuries before European contact. It is considered to be one of North America's oldest sports. Our field correspondent, Chris Quant, recently met up with the Nevada Union boys lacrosse team for a short chat.
I'm Michael.
My name's Tyler.
I'm Luca.
And what's the sport?
Lacrosse. Lacrosse is like I guess it's hockey is a way to describe it, but you throw the ball.
Tell me a little bit about the equipment here. What are we looking at?
Pretty much this is a lacrosse stick. I have a face-off head, so pretty much my position on the team is face-off.
How fast have they clocked these things at?
These things can go, the professionals can throw it about 110 miles per hour.
Now, how'd you guys get started? How'd you get started playing lacrosse?
I started out when I was about 9 years old, looked out on the field and said, I want to play this sport. It looked aggressive, it looked fun, and it looked fast.
I was a freshman, and I just got done with my football season, and I was just off, not doing anything, and I saw a bunch of my friends were posting about the sport, and I was like, I might as well go give it a try.
I started a couple years ago. My friends were like, we should try this. This is a new sport. And I was like, okay. And then I just fell in love.
So if folks want to find out more about the team, maybe support the team, how can they do that?
Now we have a Venmo that you could support us on, and you could go to the school website, look at our games, come to our games.
Guys, is awesome. Thank you so much for learning us a little bit about lacrosse, and it sounds like it's gaining popularity here, so looking forward to hearing more from you guys.
Lacrosse is a great opportunity for youth to develop themselves in a program rooted in history, honor, and hard work. Check out their Facebook page or on the Nevada Union website at the links below in the show notes. Well, it's scholarship season here in Nevada County and across the country, a time when nonprofits and other organizations are busy soliciting funds and reviewing hundreds of applications by high school seniors for college and technical school scholarships. There are more than 500 scholarships totaling more than $2 million available countywide for kids attending Tahoe Truckee Unified and Nevada Joint Union high schools, our 8 independent charter schools, as well as private schools. And scholarships range from $500 one-time scholarships to more than $100,000 for 4-year scholarships to traditional colleges. There are also scholarships for students who plan to study in specific areas, such as environmental sciences and civics, and for those attending fire and police academies and technical schools. Participating organizations include Family Memorial Foundations and alumni groups, the League of Women Voters of Nevada County, the American Association of University Women, the 5 Rotary Clubs in Nevada County Deputy Sheriff's Association, and many, many more. We are so lucky to have so many groups interested in helping our kids. Said Brandy Sanders, District Scholarship Fund Coordinator for the Nevada Joint Union High School District, I think I have the best job in the district. I get to work with students and organizations, and I get to give money away. If you're interested in contributing money to a specific organization or school, you have questions about the scholarship program, we'll put some links in the show notes that you can explore. Most scholarship cycles close at the end of March this month, so now's the time to make a donation. And remember that every dollar counts. Don't go away, we'll be right back with a very special guest.
One of our goals as an agency is to bring that awareness that in our community there's still needs out there for firewood, especially in the senior population, and that as together as a community, we can meet that need.
Each year gets a little harder and a little harder, but just seeing this, I feel like one of the lucky ones.
Welcome back. Catherine Busch is a graduate of UCLA, an award-winning filmmaker, an activist, a former nun, and the grandmother of Nevada County Public Access TV. We could not think of any better way to kick off Women's History Month than with a conversation with this amazing woman. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you.
Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
I took a look at your website and just to fill myself in on your CV. And I have to say, I was like, what is it this person does not do? I mean, you were a sister of St. Joseph's for 25 years.
Yeah.
You were a teacher, a nurse, a medical photographer, director, editor, writer, videographer. It's just amazing. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about how your life took this path? It looks to me that your core is about being of service.
Yes, that actually was the charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph, to love God and the dear neighbor, and in service to them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest thrills, or not thrills, but the things that I'm most proud of is starting the public education and government access in Nevada County.
How long ago was that?
I would say at least 35. Yeah.
Years.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But I started, when I entered the convent, I thought I actually thought I would be doing domestic help because I didn't do that well in high school. And somehow I was accepted into a college program. At that time, the sisters were teachers and nurses.
Right.
And so I graduated from Carlow University. I taught school for 4 years, and I lived with women who really loved what they were doing. And I was a good teacher, I know that, but I didn't love it the way they did. Mm-hmm. So I went to the head of the community and I said, I don't really like it the same way that the other sisters do. So she said, well, how about nursing? So I said, I'll give it a shot. Mm-hmm. And so
why not?
Why not, right? And then I went to nursing school, and while I was in nursing school, I used films a lot when I was teaching, and so I suggested to the school, the nursing school, that I would get some films that on the circulatory system, the nervous system, and so on. And they were thrilled because, like I said, they were wonderful clinicians but terrible teachers.
Right.
So the medical photography department brought over the projector. I threaded it up, showed the film, and then took it back. And when I walked into the department, there was all of these images, and I just felt at home.
You were fascinated. You were hooked.
I was hooked.
Right.
Yeah. So fortunately for me, they needed help, and so after school at 3 o'clock, I would go over to the department, and because I had the proper clothes on, the nursing program, I wasn't a nurse at that time. I was studying to be a nurse.
Right.
So anyway, I worked there as a helper, and went on the floor with the people who worked in that department. And then I did a year's internship as a medical photographer, and then I was hired. And so I was there for 4 years.
And your passion was born.
It was.
And
yeah.
so when I look at the list of the films and programs that you've worked on, we don't have enough time to list them all here, but we talked before the show, and you were wanted to talk about 3 specific projects.
Yes.
The first is the Face of Wisdom, I believe is about older women.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The Face of Wisdom, Stories of Elder Women.
Elder women.
I interviewed women over 70, and the reason I did that, and the reason I did women, and the reason I did culturally different women was I wanted to get more of the feminine into the mix of how attitudes are shaped and decisions are made. And one of the shows won a national first award, so that was gratifying for sure. The second series was
Spirit of the Trees.
Spirit of the Trees.
Okay.
And I didn't produce that. I directed and edited that. And it explores the link between trees and forests and Native American cultures. And I filmed all over the country, including Hawaii. And it was only Native people's interviews, only Native American music, and only Native American art. And so
you incorporated into the film.
Into the film,
Got
right,
it.
right. So I just, the only non-Native person was me.
Was you.
Yeah. And so I just tried to honor what I had to work with. And I have such respect for Native American people that, I mean, I really gave it my best.
I would love to see that. We'll get to that in a sec. And then
Okay.
the third piece that I think you are well known for is We the People, which is a docu-series, correct?
Yeah, it's an educational documentary series. The shows, because I worked at a film company for 13 years, somewhere in between all these other things. While I was going to UCLA. Because I was a teacher, I knew that they had to be somewhere around 15 minutes, because otherwise the film would be too long for any kind of discussion or any kind of build up to the actual viewing of the program. The reason, the motivation for the series was, or is, when I first heard about the incarceration, I was 40.
So we're talking about the incarceration of Japanese Americans
people.
during World War II.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Just a little context.
I didn't know about it. I mean, I was a teacher,
Right.
Nothing in the books, nothing. People back east didn't know anything about that. And so when I first heard about it, I thought, I got to do something about that. When I get a chance, I'm going to do that. And so the California Museum commissioned me to do 25 interviews with Japanese people who had been in the camps when they were kids.
Right.
And so once I had that material, I said to the museum, you can't just leave this, at a kiosk or in the drawer somewhere. We have to do something with it. And so I created this series where it begins with a little background about the people and their immigration here, and then it goes right up to Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
And then the second one is the actual incarceration. Right. And then the 442nd, which is an all Japanese regiment, which is the most honored regiment for its size in the history to this day, in the history of the military. I did one on the people who helped, because people stood up. Some people stood up for them, where
neighbors and local people.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And some saved the farms of the Japanese people.
So when they came home, the farms were intact.
Yes, it was rare, but it did happen. Mm-hmm. And then the next to the last one is the beginning of the Japanese American Citizens League, where a group of young people wanted to do something wanted to be activists because of what happened. And the JACL is still a vital organization for the Japanese people and for others who are interested. And then the last show is a way to look at what happened and
lessons to be learned for the future and so on.
Lessons for sure, but it's a way. It's basically a challenge to do something about, because taking this particular thing that happened in history, and the show is called that last show is called "Could This Happen Again?" And yes, it could. And unless people who understand that it's wrong, that there's some sort of dialogue or discussion. And so I built into the whole package a teacher's overview, optional questions for to start a discussion, because that was the whole point of this doing the series, is for people to talk to each other about it by using something that is history. It's not hearsay or
right, it's fact,
but it's fact, and have people talk about it in local groups, small groups, churches, libraries, any place that's interested, history, anything that would be
conducive to a social justice discussion or church or a community group. No, I think that's really, and it's incredibly relevant to today. Don't forget the past, or you'll relive it, or whatever the cliche is. How can people get a hold of you? We'll put that in the show notes as well. But if people are interested, how can they contact you?
I think it's being put up as we're talking. The link, because it is here at NCTV, Nevada County Media.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
awesome.
it just click on it.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We'll make that very clear. Well, I could talk to you for much longer. Thank you for your work. It's so important. You're an inspiration, and happy to kick off Women's History Month with your story. It's fascinating. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome.
Well, folks, thank you for watching this edition of Nevada County Now. If you would like to help contribute or write stories, appear on a show, or even become a host, please check out the details on our website at nevadacountymedia.org/ncn. This program is local news and information brought to you by locals. Remember to stay safe, take care of each other, and get out there and explore all this community has to offer. Good night.